I want to talk about something tonight that I think most of us carry quietly. Something we don't really say out loud because saying it out loud makes it real. So here it is. I don't have it figured out. Not my career, not my relationships, not even some days why I feel the way I feel. And for a long time, I thought that was a problem I needed to fix before I was allowed to talk about anything else. But I don't think that's true anymore. Have you ever noticed how everyone online seems to be 3 steps ahead of you? They've got the routine, the mindset, the 5 habits that changed their life. And you're sitting there at 11 at night, wondering why you can't even keep a plant alive, let alone a 5-year plan. I used to think that meant I was behind, like life was a race and everyone else had found the shortcut, and I was still tying my shoelaces at the starting line. But here's what I've slowly started to understand. Nobody's actually ahead. They're just better at looking finished. We perform certainty because uncertainty feels like weakness. We say, I'm good because I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Doesn't fit in a text message. We smile in photos on days we cried in the car beforehand. And somewhere in all that performing, we forget that everyone else is doing the exact same thing. We're all just quietly guessing, adjusting, hoping we're not the only one who feels this lost. I think that's actually the loneliest part of being human right now. Not the uncertainty itself, but believing you're the only one who feels it. So let me ask you something. What if not having it figured out isn't the exception? What if it's just what being alive actually feels like most of the time for most people, and we've just gotten really good at hiding it from each other? I think about this a lot when I'm walking home late, past all these lit windows, other people's lives happening quietly behind glass. And I used to imagine they all had it sorted. Dinner on the table, plans that made sense, peace, somehow, that I hadn't found yet. But now I think, some of those windows are hiding someone exactly like me, sitting there, wondering the same thing I am, wondering if they're the only one still figuring it out at 30, at 40, at whatever age they thought they'd have arrived somewhere by now. Nobody arrives, though. Not really. Not in the way we imagined as kids, where adulthood was some finished state you'd unlock, like a level in a game. You just keep becoming, keep adjusting, keep learning things about yourself that contradict what you thought you knew last year. And maybe that's not failure. Maybe that's just what it means to still be paying attention. I want to tell you something my dad said once that I didn't understand until years later. He said, "The people who scare me most are the ones who think they've got it all worked out, because that usually means they've stopped looking." At the time, I thought he was just being modest. Now I think he was telling me something important, that the discomfort of not knowing is actually a sign of life, a sign you're still asking, still noticing, still willing to be wrong about things you were sure of yesterday. The people who seem the most lost are sometimes the ones paying the closest attention. So if you're listening to this at some hour you probably shouldn't be awake at, replaying conversations, wondering if you're behind, wondering why everyone else seems so sure of themselves, I just want you to know, you're not behind. You're not broken. You're not the only one. You're just early in a becoming that doesn't have a finish line. And maybe that's not something to fix. Maybe that's just something to be a little gentler with. That's it for tonight. If any of this found you at the right moment, I hope it sits with you a while. Not to answer anything, just to remind you that the not knowing isn't just you. Good night, and I'll see you next week.